Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Language Arts Gallery. Today, I want to pick back up with our academic writing and research work, and we're going to talk about how you can use your Institutional Review Board approval form to help you to write your Chapter 1 and your Chapter 3. So, I want you, when you're writing your IRB, and we have videos on how you can do that, I want you to think about how you can use what you've already written to help inform what you're going to see in your chapter 1 and your chapter 2. So do a really good job on that IRB, and you're going to see exactly how you can transfer a lot of that information over to your dissertation itself. So let's go over the different parts of your IRB form. You're, of course, going to start with some personal information about yourself, your experience. Now, that obviously is not going to transfer to your dissertation or thesis, but this is really important. Remember, your IRB approval is essential. So it's important to do a good job so you can transfer this information into your dissertation, but it's also important to do a good job because you can't start your research, you can't start gathering data from your participants until you actually get IRB approval. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the different parts of our IRB. We're going to be asked to fill out some background on our study, the aims of our study, and the research questions. The procedures for our study. In other words, what sort of research design, research paradigm are we going to take for our study? Is it going to be a qualitative study? Is it going to be a quantitative study? What population are we sampling and what method are we using to sample that population? What are the risks and the benefits to the participants in our study? And we're also going to want to to speak about how we're going to minimize any of those risks, what steps we're taking to mitigate any potential harm. We'll talk about how we're going to recruit our participants, the informed consent procedure. This is very important. We want to go through all the details about how participation is voluntary and how our participants have at any time the option to opt out of the study without any penalty. You also want to make sure that you complete that city training and you somehow include that with your IRB application. Usually your institution will ask for that. What research instruments are you using? If you're using existing instruments, do you have usage rights? And if it's open source, then you're going to want to include some sort of open source license, or if you've received permission, you're going to want to show that you have, in fact, permission to use someone's copyrighted work. If it's something you've created, did you pilot it? And you're going to want to provide the statistical results of that piloting process. If you are doing it in a physical location, you're going to want to include site permission. You're going to want to talk about data collection procedures, and finally, data analysis. Now, all of these are going to be really important. You're going to want to be really thorough because as you complete these, you're going to see that these actually blend into chapter 1 and 3. Your background and your aims and your research questions are going to go into chapter 1, whereas the rest of the topics are going to flow into your chapter 3. So let's take a look at what sections go where. So for your chapter 1, your background section in your IRB is going to go into your background and problem statement in your chapter 1. Your research aims is going to go into the purpose of your study in chapter 1. And your research questions is going to flow to your research questions. That's a pretty short and self-explanatory section in your chapter 1. And I do want to note just that your research questions may change slightly from when you get IRB approval to what your advisor says. Ultimately, any video that we put out, any sort of class I teach on research methods, it's important to know that the final say always belongs to your advisor. Whatever your advisor says, whatever your committee or your board says, that's what you do. Your procedures section in your IRB, this is going to be your research design or your research paradigm. Population and sampling method. That's going to go under your sampling and data collection. Now, all of these risks, benefits, participant recruitment, informed consent, research instruments, site permission, data collection, this all is going to go under either sampling or data collection. Now, your data analysis is going to go under either data analysis or statistical analysis, depending on what type of study you're doing. So save time for yourself by doing a really good job on your IRB. The IRB process, it depends on the institution. Some of them have a very fast turnaround time. Some of them take a little bit longer to get back to you. But the important thing is that when you do complete your IRB form, you don't want to have to do it more than once. So if your institutional review board looks at it and they send it back to you, then that's more time waiting before you can start your study, because that really does paralyze the whole process. Before you can actually start, you've got to get that IRB approval. So if you do a really good job, you hopefully only have to submit it to the IRB once. And then if you've got a really thorough IRB, use a lot of that information in the first and third chapters of your dissertation. And as far as your chapter 2 goes, hopefully you've done a lot of reading before you've actually chosen this topic and before you've developed your research questions, because ultimately you familiarized yourself with the literature, you saw where that gap is, and that's what led to you developing those research questions. So really, once you've established what your research questions are and you've done a good job with your IRB, really have the skeleton for the first three chapters of your dissertation. So it's not that much once you get that legwork done in the beginning. So do the job initially, get that heavy lifting done, and then those first three chapters are going to be really a lot easier for you. Then the hard part comes with gathering your data. Once you gather your data, um, then the data analysis is usually fairly easy. Writing up that chapter 4 is usually pretty easy. I think chapter 4 is the easiest one. And then you've got your relatively short chapter 5. So thank you so much. Do remember to subscribe to our channel, and you can find all of my lessons, including the complete academic writing and research course, in my Teachers Pay Teacher store, and that's linked in the video description. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in our next video.